Okay, surface area of pyramid. A pyramid is a solid shape with a polygon for its base and triangular faces that meet at a point or vertex called its apex. Now, the only difference between pyramid and prism is that a pyramid actually meet at the one point apex here, whereas prism is all the way from the base to the top. It's the same size, same shape. Okay, so that's different. Now it says polygon. The shape is a polygon down here. It means the shape with a straight line. Okay, closed shape with a straight line. Now let's have a look at a little bit more. Now this one, pyramid has a slant height of a pyramid or cone is the height from its apex to the base along a side face. So on the side of that part there is the slant height is going through. So it's different to the normal height, which is we call perpendicular height. That's actually from the apex to down to the base, not actually along a side face. It's sort of straight down from the top to bottom is the perpendicular height, but whereas a slant height is along the face. So if I just show you the diagram, it might be a little bit better. So this is the diagram here. The surface area of a pyramid is calculated by adding the area of the base and the areas of the triangular faces. Okay, so here that it's actually apex on the top to the base, but along a side face is the slant height. But from apex to the base of it, and then it's perpendicular to the base, is the normal height, what we call it. It's called perpendicular height, but it's what we normally think it's when you think about height, is that height. Now, quick summary of it. So surface area for a pyramid, we have to find the area of the base. It could be square, could be rectangle, could be triangle. So we find the area of the base and then plus 4 times area of the triangular faces. Okay, so area of, I think I made a mistake here. 4 is already there. So 4 faces, so it'll be 4 times of the area of the triangular face. Okay, but it's only example for rectangle or square. If it's a triangle, it'll be 3. Okay, so it depends on the shape of the base. All right, so let's have a look at the example. Okay, so example says find the surface area, oops, I think I gave you all the answers there, of each square pyramid. Now this is a square pyramid, so that means base shape, the polygon, is square. So they name the pyramid according to the shape of the base. Okay, so if it was a rectangle, it would be a rectangle pyramid. Okay, so surface area will be area of square base plus area of 4 triangular faces. So square will be 14 times 14, that's not a big problem, and times there's a 4 triangular faces all around, so that means 4 times the triangle. So half times base times, now this is not the height, the perpendicular height we're talking about, it's the slant height because we are finding area of the face. Okay, so the height will be going through here. Okay, that would be our height. Then also it's a perpendicular, which is this one actually, it actually given to us. That's 20. So it'll be half times base, which is 14, times slant height, which is 20. So the answer will be 756 centimeters squared because it's area. Part B is also finding surface area of square pyramid. Now this is not too bad, looks quite okay, but we have a bit of problem. There's no slant height in here. So for example, if I sketch that, we don't have slant height, so we need to find slant height. Why? Because otherwise we cannot find the area of the triangular face. Okay, so when we're trying to find the slant height, I'm actually moving this triangle right there. So the perpendicular height is 20, and that's my half of the length, which is half of 30, isn't it? So that's 15, and that's my slant height. Okay, now I'm just going to use the Pythagoras Theorem, and slant height is my hypotenuse, so I'm just going to do 20 square plus 15 square and all over square root, and I'll get 25. So that's my slant height, and the surface area will be, so area of the square will be 30 times 30 plus 4 times the triangular faces. So half times base, which is 30, times slant height is 25. So answer is 2,400 centimeters squared. Okay, next one. Down a bit. Example 2. A rectangular pyramid with a base measuring 10 centimeters by 8 centimeters has a perpendicular height of 15 centimeters. Now, I would like to actually just underline all the important information. Okay, so rectangular is that. Okay, so it's not a square, so we're going to have a little bit of the thinking to do here. So there's a diagram here. Now we need to have a planning or prediction here, because rectangle has 2 different measurements, length and width. That means we're going to have 2 different slant heights. Okay, so think very carefully about, depends on the shape of the base. So let's have a look at the first slant height. So I'm looking at A is my apex, and then straight down perpendicular height down to O, which is my middle of the base. And then I'm looking at this Q here. So I'm looking at actually this triangle right there. Okay, so that's my slant height, AQ, that's my slant height, and that's, what is this one? Half of 10, isn't it? Half of 10 is this one. And then my perpendicular height is 15, so I'm going to use Pythagoras again because I'm looking for hypotenuse. So I'm going to call it H1 for one of the slant heights, because there will be another one. And that's square root of 250. I'm going to just keep it like that because it looks neater. Because if I just start doing it decimal, it's going to be a little bit messy to do the working out. So I'm going to leave it like that for the time being. And then I'm looking at this triangle. I don't know whether you can see this carefully. Just follow my pen. That's where I'm going. So AP is AP here, and my center of the base is O here. So the perpendicular height doesn't change, 15, and that's my slant height, AP. That's my slant height. Now, this is the part that our base I'm looking at. It's the half of 8, half of 8. So that would be 4. And again, I'm going to use Pythagoras Theorem, and I'll get square root of 241. That's not too bad. Now, this is going to be a little bit confusing, so go slow with this. Surface area equals area of rectangle. That's not a problem. Okay, that's not a problem. Plus 2 times the triangular face with first slant height. Okay, and then 2 of the triangular area of the triangular face with second slant height. Okay, so there's a 2 sets, okay, with each one has a different slant height. So if you can remember the graph here, diagram here, the base is 8 times 10. That's not a big deal. 8 times 10 or 10 times 8. And then 2 times half times base. When base was 8, our slant height, I'll just sketch this again. Slant height was a square root of 250. And plus 2 times half times the base was 10. My slant height was square root of 241. So just be careful. What was my base? What was my slant height? Okay. And then if I do that, because I can cancel the 2's out. So all I left with 8 square root of 250, 10 square root of 241. I put all that in the calculator. I'll get 361.7 centimeters squared. Okay, next question. It's the last question. A square pyramid has a surface area of 4,704 meters squared and a base area of 1,764 meters squared. Okay, at least its base is a square, so it's a bit easier to calculate. Find A, the length of its base. So area of the base was what? Area of a square, wasn't it? Because it's a square pyramid. And therefore we got the area, which was 1,764. Now to get the, it was S and S. So S square, if I want to find S square equals 1764, S will be square root of 1764, and S is what? Length, isn't it? Has to be bigger than 0, so we don't have to worry about negative, because normally S square equals plus minus square root of something. But in this case, we're only going to count positive. So it's going to be 42 meters. That's not too bad. Part B says the area of each triangular face. Now, triangular face, we're going to use information from the question. So surface area was area of the base plus area of 4 triangular faces. So I'm going to actually put that in. We got the surface area as 4,704 equals area of the base, which is 1,764, plus 4 of the triangular faces. So if I put X as area of each triangular face, we can just find X for this question, which is just simple equation. And the X will be 735 meters square per triangular face. Part C, it says the slant height of each triangular face. Okay, slant height. So let's have a look. Area of a triangular face, we just got that from the previous question, equals half times base times slant height. I'm just going to make it as a H. So I can simplify that. It'll be 735 equals half times. The base was 42. We found that the length from part A of the base, which is a square, is 42 times the height. And what's a half of 42? 21H equals 735 divided by 21. It'll be 35 meters. And last question is the perpendicular height of the pyramid we have to find. Let's make that as capital H so that it'll be different from the slant height, which was a little h. So I'm just going to sketch the right angle triangle. So I'm just imagine this is the perpendicular height that goes straight down from the apex to the base, and that's the half of the length, which is half of 42, which is 21, and slant height, we got that from previous part, was 35. And to find the perpendicular height, which is capital H here, we're going to use Pythagoras. This time, this is one of the shorter sides, so you need to take it away, not plussing it. So the answer should be 28 meters.